Welcome to part 2 of the 7 Days Beginner's Guide. Mino here, and I wasn't sure how to do this back half of the series. I decided you're pretty much doing two things in the first week. You're building a main base, and you're building a horde base. So I decided on a two-parter. This is the main base one. We're also going to have a lot of tips and tricks of what to do in the first couple of days because, you got to survive to make the main base, right? Now, once we get the main base established, we'll probably just skip ahead to the horde base because midweek is pretty much playstyle dependent, and I don't want to tell you how to play the game. There's tons of playstyles that are, they're fun in their own way, and depending on how you like to do it, well, it's there for you. So, have fun with that, and we'll jump back in before it gets super dangerous. For now, we're going to start a new run. I'm doing the 8K pre-gen map. I don't think console players have the map generation thing yet, which, way cooler. Trust me, you want to do that, but until that comes along, I'll stick with this so that you guys can play along. We are going to make a couple of tweaks here. I'm going to juice up the XP multiplier. I think I can handle it, and I want to show you guys some more stuff. This will be more of a chance for us to get more stuff. I'm also going to extend the time. You see, it takes me 5 or 6 times to say a line sometimes because I'm constantly tripping over my words. So I need the extra time so I don't have to include the takes where I sound like an idiot. Nobody would like that. Now keep in mind, because the day is longer, I'm going to have more cooking time on these timers, which isn't really fair if you're on a 60-minute day. So I'll really try to limit that. And, for new players, I encourage longer game days because I'm a builder and it just gives you more time to build. And if you're like me, you'll want that. That's enough yammering for now. Let's hop in and see what happens. Now, once you drop in, the first thing you want to do is open the challenges menu and burn through this top row as quickly as you can. That's going to show you where to find the trader, which that's what you want to do. You get used to this. There's no real trick to it. It's real self-explanatory. Just follow the little bouncing ball. You'll get there. After you've cleared them all out, the other challenges open up, and you get a marker to the trader. Right over there. At this point, all you need to do is organize your tool belt and inventory however you like, throw away to whatever you don't want to keep, and we're heading over there. Along the way, there's really two things you want to look for. And that's bird nests and tree stumps. On bird nests, you get eggs. Eggs and feathers. Feathers for the arrows, but mainly you want the eggs. And tree stumps because they have a chance to give you honey. Nothing in that one, but a chance. Now, honey is one of the few things that'll beat an infection. If you get hurt too much, you get infected. That'll kill you. You don't want that to happen, so you want honey. Like that. Now later you get antibiotics and stuff, but early game, that's a lifesaver. You also want to beat up any tires. We're going to need a lot of polymer in a very short amount of time, and tires is one of the few spots you can get that. Don't forget your tools and weapons do get damaged. You can just go into your inventory and repair them. Stone tools just take rock and stone and stuff, so they're very easy for upkeep. Once you've reached the trader, there's a couple of things you want to drop down before you even go in. In the build menu, you can build a bedroll, and you can build a wood storage crate. The wood storage crate is so you have a drop box. You'll be collecting a bunch of crap. You don't have a house yet. You don't want to carry it around. Put it there. And the bedroll, well, that serves as a spawn point. You want a spawn point, don't you? Looks like somebody needs a nose boop. Now with that out of the way, we can turn in our mission.
At least wipe that shit off your boots before you come into my shop.
I think it goes without saying that Rekt is not the favorite trader.
Congratulations. Here's your reward, sucker.
Once you finish that first one, he always just gives you a shovel, and there's a special job. And this first mission is easy enough. He gives you a shovel. All you gotta do is go to that marker and dig a hole. Oh, right after we do this. Hi, lady. Always search trash, too. You'd be amazed at what you can find in there. Like those lead pipes. That I don't want, but this. Lead pipes you want. Grab those, too. And any food. Any food is good. Food's going to be in very short supply early on, and so always grab it. Murky water if you can find it. Make sure to read any magazine, and as soon as you get 5 bones, go into your build menu and make a bone knife. You'll want to hunt animals. The bone knife is what you skin animals with. You get more meat that way. You want that. And once you get to the location, just activate the icon, start digging. And watch your 6. And one odd mechanic, if you sneak when you're doing your work, it makes less noise. Noise attracts zombies, and if you're chopping trees or mining or digging a hole, and you sneak, like that, zoop zoop, you make less noise, less likely for the baddies to come and mess with you. So, that's handy.
Weapon. I'd shake your hand, but I bet you got dysentery, the way you smell.
Now, when you finish this first mission for him, you get a bundle of stuff. It says right here what the main perk is going to be under for each of these weapons. I go with the baton. I usually do an intellect build with strength as secondary, but I don't like the shotgun. I take enough to get the machine gun semi-decent. But that's me. Now, once we've turned that in, we're already starting to get hungry and thirsty. So I'm going to eat the food and drink one of the waters that we got to start with. And then we're going to raid Rekt's place because we have stuff to do here. Now, he's got a workbench, a forge, a cement mixer. The main thing we're looking for is this right here, the Forge Ahead magazine. That's how we build the dew collector. Now, the dew collector is how we're going to get water, and so we want to build that as soon as we can. And the dew collector takes 100 polymer, which that's why we've been beating up tires. Oh wow, we can already build a forge. Don't forget, in this back cabin, he has a stack of food. Not a lot, but a little's better than nothing. Let's go get a mission so we have an excuse to clear out some buildings. Now, the traders are going to have 5 jobs every day. Buried supplies suck. So that means right now we only have 2 jobs. Ideally, we want to get through, I think it's 8 jobs. I think it's 7 jobs, and then on the 8th job is when you get it. But anyway, after several jobs, you get to the next tier. And the first tier reward is a bicycle. And we want to get the bicycle from him because that's our easiest mode of transportation. But that means we need to get through more than what he had there. So here's a first little trick. Now this is a little bit cheesy, but because of the progression buffer, you can't cheese it too much. But if you don't like the missions that he has, just go outside of his base and leave the game, and then come right back in. Once you're back in, if you go back to his mission list, it'll be all new missions.
Put away your weapon, unless you'd like to die in my store.
See? So now we have a really decent selection. We're going to burn through these. Weirdly, the goal of today is a cooking pot. Not a place to live, not a permanent home, a cooking pot. He sells one for 600 dukes, or whatever they got. 600 dukes. He sells them. Now we can buy it, or we can find it.
If you want a job from me, you'll do what you're told, asshole. You better not fuck this up, or I'll cut your goddamn throat.
So, raiding houses for him is an excuse for us to look into kitchens, diners, anything like that that may have a cooking pot just laying around. If we can find one, that's way better than buying one. That way we can buy food or other things that we might need. Make sure to search toilets and bathtubs and whatnot for murky water. I know, sounds gross, but you want all the murky water.
I'd shake your hand, but I bet you got dysentery, the way you smell.
We're getting skill points, by the way. I have not spent them on purpose. Normally, you'll be spending them by now, but I want to cover that in something where I can kind of focus and explain what I'm doing, and that's not going to be the middle of the day. Okay, coming up, see that green trailer that has pig on it right there? That is a super good trailer to know. Some of these points of interest have a lot of food inside of them. In that case, it's pigs. There's a snake and like 4 pigs, I think. 4 or 5 pigs, lots of meat. Now, there's a couple of dogs that are a real pain to take out early on, but if you can get them, you've got food for several days if you just clear that one building right there. So, if you see that, that's a good one. There's another one called Bob's Boars. Lots of food in that one. A bar called the Dead Rooster has a bunch of chickens. Once you learn them, remember them, because food, you know. Oh, and a crack-a-book. Good place for reading materials. And we're going to save that for day 2, and I'll explain why. Oh, I've done a home base in there before, and it is fun. It is fun, but it was cumbersome. There was a big problem. We'll get into that later, too. We don't want to miss the rabbit. I suck at the bow and arrow, so I generally just chase these boogers down. What are you doing? I skin it with a knife. Another trick to this, and this is kind of cheesing it, you can loot everything on the premises, start the mission, that resets the cell, and then you can loot again. Watch. Now we've looted what we want out of here. Hit the button. Everything's back. As you're going through the neighborhoods, you'll notice most of these houses have a mailbox in front of them. The mailboxes have a very high chance of having a magazine in them. There's a reason I'm not taking them yet, because once you open a mailbox and you spawn the loot, that's the loot it's going to be. And magazine chances are directly related to the skills that you've picked. So I haven't done any skill picking yet, meaning the magazines are completely random, and I don't want to waste the spawn. We'll get to magazines later, but you guys, you can pick your skills and start hitting those by now. No problem. Fantastic. We can build a wrench, which means that by tomorrow we should be able to start collecting mechanical parts and whatnot. That's good stuff. And it looks like Rekt pointed us to a whole new town. This is a new feature to 1.0 that I've noticed. There'll be towns that spawn that don't have a trader in them. So I don't think there's another Rekt in here that we could house up near. It's just a town sitting off by itself, but there's going to be plenty of stuff in it. So we might need to come back here outside of missions, do a little raiding depending on what we see here. Oh, we found a grill. Grill is not a cooking pot, but it's one of the things we want. It looks like this wasn't one of the lucky runs. Sometimes you can find cooking pots in kitchens. We did not. But goal 1 of the night is to have a cooking pot. What we have done is not spent any money. We've been able to find enough food and water, I say that as we slowly starve to death, to make it through the day. And we have 559 dukes. We need 600 to get what we want to get. But we have stuff to sell, so between that and this mission reward, we'll be able to get it. Then we got to find a place to hole up and cook everything. Also, if you notice in the bottom left, the little red exclamation point, no thing that's going on, that means that's the last mission that's going to count towards tier progression with Rekt. So if we did any more missions today anyway, it's not getting us anywhere.
Wipe that smirk off your face. Doing one job doesn't make us pals. Got it?
Okay, cool. I think that's all I want to take home for the night. Let's go ahead and sell everything we want to get rid of and get that cooking pot so we can find a crash pad.
Hey, asshole, you better not take a look, but don't expect me to hold your hand through it.
All right, buddy. You do have a cooking pot, don't you? You usually do. There we go.
Thank you very much, and now you can go fuck yourself.
I intend to. Alright, now to find a place to sleep. Now this is not going to be our forever home. Tomorrow morning we'll go over exactly what we're looking for in a forever home. This is going to be a for now home. Now a lot of times we'll get lucky and we'll have a clear mission somewhere near here that's in a nice enough spot, but I don't recall that happening this time. Nah, I didn't see anything super spectacular, so we're just going to find one of these tall places to hang out on. This silo up here. I bet this thing will work. Sweet, that should be quite enough. All we gotta do is kind of stay out of the line of sight. And we're gonna build a campfire. And pop that on the ground just like any other item. And to the campfire, we're gonna add our grill and our cooking pot. Now we can make some serious stuff. It's gonna need wood. Which we don't have a ton of that, but we got enough. 17 murky water will get us 17 regular water. We don't have a tea recipe yet, I don't think, do we? No, we have not unlocked any tea recipes, so we're stuck with plain Jane water for now. But we do have some food. We got our water, we got meat, and with a grill, we can make grilled meat. Oh, not yet, no. I need the magazines. We can make charred meat, though, so we won't starve. Now, I did mention that I'll be doing my skill leveling in the evening, so we'll go ahead and knock that out while we wait. Now, the way this works is every skill you pick directly corresponds with your chances of finding a magazine for that skill. So, if you take a point in boomstick, you're more likely to find shotgun magazines. Take a point in heavy armor, more likely to find armor magazines. The downside of that is if you spread your points too thin, you're making it to where you still have a 1-to-1 chance of finding a magazine. So you really need to focus in to up your chances. Now I generally go for an intellect build because I like to build things, and advanced engineering, that's the skill for that. So I'll take electrocutioner so that I can have the baton, which eventually becomes the stun baton, which once you get the repulsor mod for the stun baton, seriously, one of the most powerful weapons in the game. And I also get robotics inventor because that's where that super sledge turret thing comes from, and part of my key horde-based design revolves around having one of those things by day 7. So we need that. Secondary, I usually focus on strength because it has Master Chef for cooking, and it has heavy armor. And heavy armor is awesome because that's where the nerd armor is, and nerd armor increases your chances of finding magazines. Which, again, magazines are awesome. You also have Mother Load and Miner 69er, and that helps with harvesting. Now sometimes if things are running slow, I'll put a point into salvage operations over here in the perception tree, because that's what gets you the wrench, but we lucked out. We already got the wrench. I'm good. So here's where I ended up. I got my intellect up to 3. We have 2 points in electrocutioner, so our baton work should be a lot better, and we might get the higher level batons pretty soon. 1 in robotics inventor, because, again, the sledge. 1 in advanced engineering, so we can build our workstations. And over here in strength, we got 1 point into that, but I got heavy armor and Master Chef. That way we can start cooking better, and we can start looking for that nerd armor. Now we're going to sit here until morning. Don't forget, when the cooking's done, turn off your campfire. That works with forges and everything else. You can turn those off to stop them from generating heat. Now, heat, there's a concept in the game where everything you do generates what's called heat. Running your workbench, running your forge, running your cooking pot, anything generates heat. And if you generate enough heat, then this thing called a screamer shows up. Now, screamers aren't so bad, but if they scream, they can call in a whole horde. Now, during the day, that's annoying. During the night, that's dangerous, especially on night 1 or 2 before you have any sort of defenses built. So minimize your activity, because that will minimize the chance of one of those things showing up. You don't want that early on. Normally, sometime during day 2 is when I secure my main home, but I'm going to go ahead and lead off with that today because I want to make sure you guys have time to explore the world and do your own thing for a while. We're going to grab our stuff. Time to find a home. So I ran back to that other town really quick, and yeah, there is another Rekt. So always check the outskirts of the towns. A lot of them do have an additional trader. And it's the same guy, it's just another copy of Rekt, but yeah, see, this is different. No Dropbox, no nothing. I'm going to set all that back up, but that's okay. That's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to drop a storage crate right here. And we're also going to put our bedroll right here just in case something happens. Sweet. Now we need to go get all of our other stuff. Now, the reason I moved to this Rekt instead of settling for the Rekt that we had is there's a building right over here. And that's the building I want to call home. This place right here. Now you might recognize that from the first video in this series, and you'd be correct. This is the base that I used. I'm not always for repetition, but one, it fits in nicely since I was explaining how it worked with the first video, and two, there's a lot of great points to this base, and I can explain what you're looking for in any home base by using this one. Now first we got to clear out some baddies. So now that I've cleared everybody out, I can do a little bit of explaining here. The reason this is so ideal is because there's 3 stories to it, at least 3 stories, and you can isolate the 3rd story. If you're on the 3rd story of a building or higher, the ground level zombies will not detect you, which is pretty awesome because the random zombies only show up on the ground level. So as long as you're not generating a ton of heat or banging and clanging all over the place, you're generally invisible to them. So you don't have to worry about them breaking into your base all the time at night. That's a good thing. See, this is the 3rd story here. And you can always modify out, just because it's a cramped little space to start. And break this out. You can build little stairs here. Build out onto the roof. As long as you're up here and you stay nice and quiet, you'll be fine. Once you got your main base picked out, you'll want to build your land claim block. That's what will keep zombies from spawning, and it'll let you pick up all of the stuff you build. So it can be more basey. Well, now that we've got our land claim block and our bedroll all set up, we're going to have to isolate the 3rd story. We can't make it easy to get in. So we need to figure out how to get up there and make it just for us. And this ladder is one way up. It only takes you to the 2nd floor. But we have our ladder built to go to the 3rd floor right there. So this could be our way up. Now zombies will climb this, but they won't climb the next one up. So we're going to take this out. There we go. Now this one we can still hop up, and there we go. We're fine. But zombies will not try to grab that. So there's our way in. We can take it, they cannot. And this is going to be a problem because it's another way in. So we're going to go take care of that. There we are. And just like that, we have a secure home. It's on the 3rd story, so the ground zombies will not detect us at night. As long as we watch our heat generation, the screamer shouldn't be too much of a problem. Nobody can get up there except us, which is a very good thing. Close to a trader. Hard to get better. And with that, I'm going to cut you guys loose. You guys go have fun out there. Now myself, I'd be doing missions and trying to get a forge built so that I can work towards the workshop as quickly as I could. But that's my style. You guys figure out your style. Go out there, conk some heads, have some fun, and I'll see you guys before Horde Night, and we'll face them together. Thanks for joining, guys, and good luck out there, survivors.